Now, you guys, I know the next question is, well, how do you figure out the hourly rate that you're going to be charging your customer? So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about that. Now, of course, when it comes to figuring out the hourly rate, there is some research that has to go into when it comes to figuring out the hourly rate that you're going to be charging your customer. Number one, what are other people charging in your market? Number two, most important, is how much it's costing you to put some money in the account. So some of the things that you want to think of when it comes down to your hourly rate for your customer are how much you're paying your employees, all of your overhead, your monthly expenses, so insurance, supplies, electricity, the car being used, all of those monthly expenses also need to be factored in. So that's kind of how you will be coming up with your hourly rate. It's not going to be just what you're paying your cleaner, but all of your other expenses. And on top of that, of course, the profit that you want to make. So just to keep the math pretty simple for you guys, we're just going to do the formula one more time. So let's just say it takes 2 hours. You're guessing that it's going to take 2 hours of cleaning 5 days a week at an account. That's 10 hours a week total. Then we're going to take that 10 hours and we're going to multiply it by 4.33 because that is the average amount of weeks in a month. We came up with 43.33 hours estimated time based on doing the walkthrough. Now, if we multiply that by $35 an hour, as just an example, $35 an hour for commercial cleaning, that is going to look like $1,515 for the month just in labor. That's what you're going to be charging your client, $1,515. And then, as I mentioned, we do a 3% add-on for supplies. So we're looking at about an additional $45 in cleaning supplies, which would bring the contract at about $1,560 a month. Now, something that I do want to mention to you guys is although we are doing the math in terms of hours, right? Like how long is this clean going to take me? That is not how you're going to present it to your client. You are not going to tell your client that you're going to be charging them for 43.33 hours of work at $35 an hour, 2 hours of cleaning. They don't need to know that. That is not for them to understand. How you're going to be presenting this is an overall monthly charge. So you would be telling your client, hey, for 5 times a week cleaning at this scope of work, your overall monthly charge is going to be, right? And that's going to be with your labor and all your other costs and your supplies. And that's how you would be presenting it to your client.
And I will add, I know a lot of people do like, this is how much it is a month. But for example, for us, we do like per the clean. So we'll say, this is how much it's going to be per the clean. Because our clients, like I said, they pay us either, if it's a smaller account, it's only 1 day a week, they'll send us our check every week. Or if it's an account that's getting done 5 days a week, they'll pay us bi-weekly. And so we give them a breakdown. But you obviously need to figure out how much you're charging each day as well. But in commercial, it's standard if you're doing, 30 days, you give them a one overall price.
True. That's a very good point. Thank you for saying that, Dave. Because you're right. If you are looking to get paid weekly, bi-weekly, then I would list out, right? Like the different prices, even though it all equates to the same thing, but that way they do know how
Absolutely.
much they're going to be making that payment on.
I'm also gonna say there's so many people that send me DMs and send comments and they're like, that's not the way you do it in commercial, blah blah blah. There's no right and wrong way. There's everyone runs their business differently. And I also get so much hate about paper checks. People are like, who uses paper checks in 2025? That's just the way we operate. And
Yeah, why not?
every company operates different. So, you just gotta figure out
Listen,
what works for you.
if it works, don't try to fix
Don't
it. That's just something. Yeah, we do things differently. Everybody does things differently. But if it works for you, do it. You know what I mean? Who cares? Forget the haters about the paper checks.
I
Just
know.
know that he's getting all those paper checks.
No, it's so funny because it's like so many people don't realize. Like, I used to think in my head that there's one way of doing things, like, oh, this is how they're doing it, I should be doing it that way. And it's not the case at all. Like, especially when we're just starting, like when I started 10 years ago, like I thought like what the other company down the road is doing is the right way, or like what the like no, whatever you'll end up finding what works best for you and your company. And like I said, no company is one size fits all. We're all different, and that's what's so great about it, you know?
No, and I love that. And you know something, I was just thinking while you were speaking, paper checks, I feel like, at least for me, I think like when I was like, oh, I don't want to do that, it was more because I didn't want to wait for the money, right? Um, but thinking about it, I can't even imagine how much money I've spent, and I don't want to know on those 3% charges that Stripe takes from my company.
Oh,
Um, so there's always a plus and a negative side to things, right? If you don't want to wait for those paper checks and you want to get paid faster, believe me, there's going to be some type of fee involved.
and that's a really good point. And I also want to add to that. Let's just talk really quick about like invoicing, and let's just talk about clients not paying. So many clients, you'll be like, especially the people that are, getting paper checks, they're like, oh my God, what if they just keep saying it's in the mail, it's in the mail? Because, oh, let me tell you, we've had it happen to us where our clients will be like, oh, the checks are just in the mail, whatever. You have to be very, very strict with your policies in regards to payment. I'm going to tell you, over the last 10 years of us in business, I'm going to tell you, some of the clients try taking advantage of, and the one thing they do try taking it is the cleaning company. They try not paying them, pay them incorrectly, whatever the case is. You have to be set in stone with your contractual agreement with the clients. This is my payment terms. This is when I must be paid or a late charge will be charged. I'm just going to tell you, we don't chase clients' payments anymore. People think that checks are headaches, and yes, it is a headache if you don't have it set up correctly, but that can be with anything. All I'm going to tell you is you need to have policies and procedures with your clients and set expectations with that client and say, this is when I expect the payment, and if not, this is how much you're going to be charged. Or if you don't pay, service will be stopped. You will be surprised how many people send in their checks on time every single month or every single week, whatever the case is. I have a client just last year, we had a client, a medical office, and they were getting service Monday through Friday. At the time, they requested monthly billing, and we said, okay, not a problem, but we must get it on the first of the month. They would wait till the 15th or the 20th. We would go almost 2 or 3 months without getting payment. And we said, you know what? No. So we stopped the contract. So guess what? They were without cleaning for 3 days until they finally paid the bill. You got to be set in stone with your clients. And guess what? You want to know one thing? They haven't missed. They've always paid ever since. They've never missed a time. They actually pay in advance now. So just keep that in your head. Your clients don't rule you. You need to. It needs to be equal on both ends. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I love that. 100%. Now, something else that we want to touch on briefly in this video is how to staff. I get this question a lot. Dave gets this question a lot. We're actually asked this question at our live event in Maryland, which you guys, 2026, we will be having a date. So keep your eyes open for that. But how does one go about staffing their facilities? At least how does Dave's Cleaning Consultants do that?
Absolutely. Let's get right into it. I think this is like a really controversial subject, and also so many people have so many questions on it. And the amount of DMs that our company gets and emails we get about staffing, because they see like groups of my cleaners cleaning facilities, and they're like, how many people do you send? How many, like, how do you do it? So let's just get right into it. I'm going to do a simple version. I could go on and on about staffing all day, but let's get right into it. So, first and foremost, you need to figure out how you're going to staff. And that's something you need to figure out in the beginning of your business. You are either going to do solo cleaners, you're going to do groups of two, or you're going to do a group of cleaners, 3, 4, or 5, right? You need to figure out how it's going to work for your business. And here at Dave's Cleaning Consultants, my company, we do two different things. We have groups of 2, and then we do groups of 3 to 5. The group of 3 to 5 do our floaters. Our floater accounts is our smaller to medium-sized locations. They're assigned 6, 7, 8 offices. They meet at our office, they go out, they do offices, and one person is assigned to one area. So one person's doing the restrooms, one person's doing the dusting and trash, one person's vacuuming, one person's mopping. That is our floater teams. Our floater teams are in and out of most of our offices within an hour, and that's how they get through so many offices. Then we have our set locations. Our set locations is our Monday through Friday offices, like we were just talking about. So many people are like, oh my God, how do I staff a Monday through Friday? Well, you need to figure out how long it's obviously going to take you, but my recommendation is for a Monday through Friday office. Like I have a 20,000 square foot office that gets done every single night. And we send 3 ladies there every single night. They're there. One of them cleans all the restrooms and takes the trash, while the other two divide the work up however they do it. I leave it up to the crew members as long as it gets done, but I always recommend during our training that you know exactly what each cleaner is doing at each location. And obviously, so the back office, if we get any complaints, that we know who's doing what and who needs retraining. So like I said, we have 2 sides to our business, the floater side and then our set locations. And our Monday through Fridays, I'm going to tell you, the Monday through Fridays are like clockwork. They're the same every single night. They do the same thing and they're in and out. And then our floaters is the same thing too, except they're traveling to multiple locations. So like I said, you need to figure out what's going to work best for you. And I want to add one last thing to this. So many people ask about day porters. Some people are, what are day porters and what are, do you have day porters? What's that? Basically, our day porters, yes, we do. And usually we do solo day porters. And that's during the daytime. Usually they're in our larger size buildings, just making sure the consumables are restocked, the hallways and corridors are cleaned, and the soap and the paper is all filled, just kind of maintaining the building. And those are for our larger size accounts. So as you grow, you're going to get requests for day porter and night service, which we can make a whole other video on that. But just know that we have here at Dave's Cleaning Zone, we have 3 different type of staffing. So floater, set, and then our day porter. So hopefully that helped answer any questions. Carolyn, do you want to touch on that?
I think that was awesome.
Okay.
My small piece of input for the staffing is, and this is for people maybe just starting out. Make sure that you are not over promising on your hours. So if you're going to hire
Absolutely.
somebody part time, make sure you have enough part time work for that person before throwing in a team of 3 or 2 into an account that maybe that one person could work for 4 or 5 hours on themselves. And that's really just my advice. I love how you have it set up, the 3 different types of technicians that come in. And I actually have been to work with Dave and his team, and I love that they work in teams of 3 or 4. I think it is super efficient. It's not something that we typically do. We work more in teams of 2, but I love that you guys work in larger teams because I got to witness myself how many accounts you guys got to cover in one night. And let me tell you guys, it is super freaking impressive how Dave will load up the vans and they go from location to location to location, and things are getting done right after the other, right after the other, right after the other. But yeah, I mean, no, I think this was great information. I'm so happy that we were able to get on this video today. I want to say thank you, Dave, for all of your time, for all of your knowledge. We're super excited to see more YouTube videos of you and to hear more from you. And hopefully you guys gathered some useful information from this video. Please leave your comments down below. Even if it is hate, a comment is a comment. I would love to hear your intake and how you guys do things, and let us know in the comments of any other topics that you would like for me and Dave to speak on. We're always trying to think of, what does the cleaning community need to hear? What is it that they're looking for? So definitely also please give Dave a follow. He is available taking consultation calls, helping people on their journey. So if you want to work and connect more with Dave, I'm going to put his call link down below and all of his social media platforms where you guys can reach and give him a follow. Do you have anything you want to close out with, Dave?
Yeah, I just want to tell everyone that I am slowly doing, I know I promised this a while back, but I am slowly starting to do some YouTube videos, so I'm super excited. They're going to be just raw videos. They're not going to be edited, so I'm super excited. So if you want to follow along on my journey, I would really appreciate that. But also, one last thing before I go. When we talked about earlier, in regards to the hiring, me and Carolyn have a video out talking about hiring part-time people when you're just getting started. So check that out.
Awesome. Thank you guys, and we will see you on the next video.